Yellowstone calls out its most baffling detail just before it ended. The Yellowstone finale closes out various storylines and brings character arcs full circle, but it also addresses one of the show's most puzzling and debated aspects. Taylor Sheridan's neo-Western drama, supposedly, ended in December 2024, more than 6 years since its premiere, following the last episode of Season 5, Life is a Promise. The finale features all the Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2 characters going their separate ways. They start new chapters in their lives, including one ranch hand who asks for a job from a familiar face. The Duttons try to save the ranch during Yellowstone's ending, while Beth seeks vengeance for John's death, and everyone decides what to do after leaving the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch. Thankfully, most of these stories are given complete endings before the credits roll. Case sells the land to Chief Rainwater for $1.25/acre. Its cost when the Duttons first acquired it, on one condition: he and his family can keep their home at East Camp. As for Beth, she finally kills Jamie and gets away with it, winning the Dutton family war. By the end, the ranch hands also move on, including Teeter. After learning she would soon be out of a job, Teeter asks Travis to join him at Bosque Ranch in Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 14. Travis tries warning her against it, seeing that he's a strict boss. But Teeter pushes on, needing to find work and wanting to get out of Montana, away from where Colby died. Travis agrees and gives her money. He tells Teeter to use it to buy an audiobook and learn how to speak ***** English, because I don't talk hillbilly. And I ain't trying to ***** learn. Ever since Teeter's introduction in Yellowstone Season 3, her strong Texan accent has baffled the characters and the audience, many of whom have difficulty understanding her. Jennifer Landon, who plays Teeter, doesn't have a Southern accent in real life, meaning the one she uses in the show is fake. So Taylor Sheridan's Yellowstone character, pointing out this confusing detail, feels like he's poking fun at himself and the series for coming up with Teeter's accent. Teeter's strong accent has been a topic of debate among fans since she joined the cast in Yellowstone Season 3. Some claim that is really how some Texan women talk, while others from the state believe it's unrealistic. Whatever the case, Teeter's accent is part of what makes her stand out from the crowd. Per Looper, Jennifer Landon once said during an episode of the official Yellowstone podcast, "Teeter always made sense to me. I always knew exactly what she was saying." Perhaps Landon can reprise her role in a Yellowstone spin-off and continue confusing viewers. As the final credits rolled on the hit series Yellowstone, fans were left with a mixture of awe, heartbreak, and, surprisingly, a perplexing sense of bewilderment. A show known for its sweeping landscapes, complex characters, and relentless drama did something few expected in its closing moments. It called out one of its most baffling details, almost as if breaking the fourth wall, leaving viewers questioning everything they thought they knew about the Dutton family and their sprawling Montana empire. The moment came just after the climactic resolution of the series' main conflict, the battle for the Yellowstone Ranch. John Dutton, Kevin Costner, the stoic and morally ambiguous patriarch, had finally made peace with his legacy, while his children, Case, Beth, and Jamie, had each carved out their own paths in ways that were as satisfying as they were tragic. It was a finale that tied up loose ends, or so it seemed, until an enigmatic conversation unfolded that pulled the rug out from under the audience. In the closing minutes, as the sun dipped below the Montana horizon, John Dutton and Rip Wheeler stood on the ranch's porch, their silhouettes framed by the golden light. It was a rare, quiet moment, a chance for reflection. Rip, ever the loyal enforcer, broke the silence with an uncharacteristic question. "John, can I ask you something?" Something I'd been wondering for years. John, with his trademark squint, nodded. Go on. Why do we call this place Yellowstone? Rip's voice was low but insistent. I mean, it ain't in the park. And the park's not even really close. Hell, it's not like the ranch has geysers or hot springs or anything like that. So why? The question hung in the air, heavier than the Montana sky. John didn't answer right away. Instead, he took a long drag from his cigar and stared out at the horizon, as if the answer might be written in the landscape itself. Finally, he spoke. You're not the first to ask that, John said, his voice gravelly and deliberate. And you won't be the last. Truth is, Rip, I don't know. Rip's brow furrowed. You don't know? How can you not know? This place has been in your family for generations. Somebody must have named it for a reason. John nodded. That's what I thought, too. I asked my father once, back when I was a boy. He didn't know either. Said his father never told him. And when I asked my grandfather, he just laughed and said, some questions ain't meant to be answered. The camera lingered on Rip's face as he processed this revelation. It was clear he wasn't satisfied, and neither were the viewers at home. For a show that had meticulously explored every facet of the Dutton family's history, this felt like an intentional omission, a glaring mystery that had somehow escaped notice until now. As the scene continued, Rip pressed further. Do you ever wonder if maybe it's not just a name? Maybe it's, I don't know, a warning. Or a reminder. John's eyes narrowed. A reminder of what? Of what happens when you try to own something that was never meant to be owned, Rip said, his voice barely above a whisper. The land, the people, the legacy. Maybe Yellowstone's just a way of saying it's bigger than us. Always has been, always will be. John didn't respond, but his silence spoke volumes. He looked out over the ranch, his expression a mixture of pride and resignation. The camera panned across the fields, the mountains, and the rivers, as if to emphasize Rip's point. The land was vast and eternal, dwarfing the human struggles that had played out upon it. The final moments of the show took an even more surreal turn. As Rip walked away, leaving John alone on the porch, the camera zoomed in on a weathered wooden sign hanging near the ranch entrance. The sign, which had always read Yellowstone Dutton Ranch, now appeared to be peeling, revealing faint letters beneath. The letters spelled out a different name, Elk Creek Ranch. Viewers were left stunned. Was this a clue, a mistake? Or perhaps a deliberate choice by the show's creators to underscore the theme Rip had just articulated? That the land and its true identity could never truly belong to any one family. The internet erupted with theories in the wake of the final. Some fans speculated that the name Yellowstone was an intentional misdirection, a way for the Duttons to obscure the ranch's true origins. Others argued that it was a metaphor for the family's attempts to impose order on a wild, untamable world. And then there were those who believed the peeling sign was a hint at a deeper conspiracy, perhaps involving the Native American tribes who had long claimed the land as their own. One particularly intriguing theory posited that the name Yellowstone was a reference to the volcanic supercaldera that lay beneath the national park. According to this theory, the ranch's name was a reminder of the impermanence of all things, a nod to the ever-present possibility of destruction, whether by natural forces or human folly. In interviews following the finale, series creator Taylor Sheridan was coy about the significance of the scene. The name Yellowstone means different things to different people, he said. For some, it's a place. For others, it's an idea. And for the Duttons, it's a legacy. Beyond that, I think it's up to the audience to decide what it means. Sheridan's comments only added fuel to the fire, as fans dissected every frame of the finale for additional clues. Was the peeling sign a continuity error or a deliberate choice? Did the Duttons themselves know the true history of their ranch, or were they as much in the dark as the audience? And what did it mean for the legacy of Yellowstone as a whole that the show's central location was, in the end, an enigma? As the dust settled, one thing became clear. Yellowstone had ended not with a period, but with a question mark. By calling out its most baffling detail in its final moments, the show ensured that its legacy would be as enduring and enigmatic as the land it portrayed. Fans may never know why the ranch was called Yellowstone, but perhaps that's the point. Like the land itself, some mysteries are meant to remain untamed.